Bruh, for years, I've been saying so many things that I wanted to reach, like setting so many high goals. And it's not until now that I really feel like, oh, well, dang near everything that I'm saying is a goal. Now it feels like, oh, I'm just hitting these things. But I had to first develop the mindset to shoot higher, to reach for higher.
What's good? Welcome back to another episode of the Highlight Reel. As you can see, I have a special guest once again today. Yes. This is my friend Jayda.
Yes.
Also known as Miss JAELL. So, ma'am, go ahead and tell the people about yourself a little bit.
Hey y'all, I'm Jayda Ellis. I am from Houston, and I've been in Atlanta. What is funny?
Sorry.
Anyways, I've been in Atlanta for about like 7 or 8 years, and I'm a couture fashion designer. I also do podcasting, and I do a little teaching here and there, but my main thing is I'm a couture fashion designer, and the name of my brand is JAELL.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So we're going to get into plenty today, and I think that this is going to be, good because I know you a lot better compared to when I first met you.
Yes.
So this is also going to be pretty funny. We're going to see. So first off, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm a little nervous.
Why are you nervous? Because what?
I think whenever I get on other people's platforms, it's like a little bit of...
Oh, because you don't know what I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I think the conversation will be good.
Nah, I'm playing. This is actually going to be really good. It's like whenever we talk, we end up talking for like an hour or two.
No, for sure.
So this is just recorded.
Yeah.
That's all it is, really.
Definitely.
First off, of course, we talk... I feel like I always end up talking to you about the podcast, about Growing Painz a little bit. So how's that going for you right now?
It's been cool. Yeah. We just recently got fired, so...
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's been cool.
That's a way to start.
So, I mean, everything's still good with like Social Proof. That's the network that we're on, we were on. But it's just more so we're not getting paid no more.
Okay.
And so now we do everything on our own, or this will be our first month doing everything on our own. So like recording on our own, setting up on our own. But I feel like we've been doing good. We've been more on top of things, and I feel like
because you have to, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Like things that we should have been doing like before, now we're very intentional about it now because it's like, okay, we actually have to take this seriously. And I think we just really got too comfortable, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's the thing.
Because, I mean, we were only getting paid like $250 each a month. But it's like, a little $250. That paid my car insurance, you know? So
yeah.
I think we were all just real comfortable with like getting our little $250 and we just show up and record, but we weren't doing the extra things. And it's not that we didn't want to. I think we were just, comfortable. So we weren't doing the extra things necessary to push the podcast. We wasn't posting no clips. We weren't like promoting how we needed to.
Yeah.
But now, like we have like set, I guess new like standards for ourselves. So now it's like, okay, we're posting like multiple times a week. We're promoting our episodes now.
It's just funny listening to you say all that. Cause I mean, of course y'all have cared. Of course you care about the podcast, but I think it's seeing what's different in your behavior when you realize, oh, we got to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think, we were just super comfortable. But now we're
it's like the kind of, is it safe to say it kind of lit a fire under y'all in a way? It's like, okay, we got to go out and do this.
Because we don't want to lose the podcast. We get so many messages from people telling us how much they love it, how they support it. We have people in other countries that be telling us that, that they really love the podcast, how it inspired them and helped them with something. There's this one guy that watches the podcast. Every time he watches, he leaves a whole detailed long paragraph of notes of the whole podcast from start to finish.
That's a real one.
And it makes me so happy every time I read it because it's like, seeing his perspective of like what he felt about the things that we said throughout the episode.
Yeah.
And so it's just like stuff like that. We realized we don't want to give up on the podcast. So we were like, okay, let us stop playing. Like we be doing like weekly meetings and stuff now. So Yeah, it's cool for sure.
And I just remember thinking it was interesting when you asked me, how do I do mine?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, why are you asking me that? I was thoroughly confused. So I was thinking, y'all, it's because it's 3 of y'all.
Yeah.
And it's 1 of me. So whatever I do.
Jiraiya set up his own podcast. I was like, maybe he can help us with something.
And I was like, wow. It's just, I've seen recently a few people that I've either looked to for help or am inspired by have come back to ask me for something. Yeah. So you asked me for something. And then there's another content creator. He asked me, how do I make like clips and whatnot? And I was like, why? You've been
consistent.
Yeah, but it was just when he asked me, I said, I think I did say to him, look at you asking me for something.
Yeah.
Whoa. Look at me being a resource. It was just cool when you see those things come back around.
So do you not see yourself as being a resource?
Oh, here you go. No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Why are you surprised then when people come to you for like
it was more so about who asked me.
Okay.
More than like what they asked me.
Okay.
It was more so like, you asking me, I thought you knew. So it was cool seeing who I could be a resource to. How about that?
Okay.
Is that better?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Good question. And of course, feel free to ask me questions. And the reason why I laughed is because I could tell that was the podcaster. And the person that you just ready to ask me questions back, I don't have a problem with that ever. So, yeah. But you from Houston?
Yes.
I just laugh because we joke about that all the time. We joke about that all the time. But
so I'm so Houston.
Yeah. We ain't gotta, you know where I'm from. We ain't gotta get into it.
Exactly.
We don't.
You
trying to trigger me.
You're from Ohio.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I didn't say nothing else. I just said you're from Ohio.
Okay. Anyway, so I want to talk about, your life since you've been in Atlanta a little bit. So, because I definitely want to talk about some of the challenges that you've experienced growing up as a young adult. It just so happened that it happened here.
Yes.
Because you have plenty of stories to tell. Yeah. Which it amazes me every time. I'm like, so this is happening to you. This is happening to you. Yeah. This is happening to you. Because to an extent, I'm thinking, should I be concerned? Should I be, worried? But I also see how these things are kind of forming you and shaping you as a person.
Exactly.
So, you could tell a little bit about, why did you come to Atlanta? That's what I want to know.
So, I was supposed to go to college in Texas. I was going to UNT, University of North Texas, and that's where I was set to go to school. And then towards the end of the school year, I was just like, I think I'm supposed to be in Atlanta. I don't know what it was. I forgot what it was that made me think that.
Not any other big city? It was Atlanta specifically?
It was Atlanta specifically. Okay. And I remember, I really don't know how I found out about Clark Atlanta, but I just that's the school I'm supposed to go to. And so I remember struggling thinking, I was battling, on this thought, back and forth in my mind. I was thinking, dang, should I go there or should I just stay in Texas or whatever?
Because there's plenty to do in Texas too, I would think.
Yeah,
I guess you let me know. But
Texas is not a fashion place. I don't think Texas is not fashion. When you think of fashion, you think of New York. Right. But next under New York is Atlanta, I feel like.
Really?
Yeah, Atlanta. In
the U.S.?
Atlanta is black fashion. Oh, yeah, in the U.S.
Black
for sure.
fashion, okay.
Yeah, but I would love to be in New York, but Atlanta was more affordable. Yeah. So
that's real.
Yeah. So I remember when I was making this decision, I had to go somewhere with my school. Or I went somewhere and I remember I met a pair of siblings. They were older, probably in their 30s or 40s. And I'm talking to them and I asked them about, where did y'all go to college? And one of the siblings said, oh, I went to UNT. The other one said, I went to Clark Atlanta. And I was like, this is so crazy. And so I'm talking to them.
And that's interesting for sure.
I was that's
that was
such a
uncanny. Yeah, that was weird.
And so I'm talking to them. And then the brother is the one who went to Clark Atlanta. He's telling me about his experience. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm supposed to be there. And so there was this event that Steve Harvey had, like for like HBCUs or something like that. You come to get scholarships, and Clark Atlanta was there, and so I go and Clark, I went up to them and I was like, hey y'all, like I'm a fashion designer. I was like showing them some of my work, even though I barely made anything at that time. Like I barely made any clothes at that point. But I'm showing them my work and I'm telling them like I've been wanting to be a designer since I was like 7 and all this stuff. And then after I'm talking to them, they were like, congrats, you just got accepted into Clark Atlanta. And they gave me automatic enrollment. And so I got accepted into the school, like there on the spot.
You showed them the work that you had at the time, but you said it wasn't much.
Yeah, and I just was having a conversation with them. I told them I want to go to the school. I'm passionate about fashion, and
they offered you that on the spot.
Mm-hmm. I was trying to get a scholarship on the spot, even though I hadn't even been accepted yet. I was trying to get like a full ride or something. Yeah, but I got accepted into the school right there, and then a few weeks later, they sent me my official acceptance papers.
So it wasn't necessarily a scholarship offer like you were saying, but they offered you
enrollment because I hadn't applied to the school yet. I had just decided it was like the end of the school year.
Like, so you didn't even ask if I could like come. They said congratulations, you've been accepted.
I think I probably told them I was interested in the school. Like I wanted to go there.
That's okay.
Yeah, and so I don't talk about that.
That sounds like a little flex. That's why I asked. I'm like, let's say I went to a school and I'm just talking about going to school, and the next thing they say is, congratulations, you've been accepted. And I was like, I didn't apply. Yeah, that's to me that speaks to a little bit of favor and like just alignment. Yeah, exactly.
So I was excited to go to school. I did end up getting offered a $10,000 scholarship, and my dad, he was my hater at the time. He did not want me to go to Atlanta, so he made sure I didn't get that scholarship because it needed him. I needed him to take care of some stuff in order for me to get the scholarship. So I didn't end up going to Clark that first semester. I ended up having to stay home in Texas. And that next semester, spring semester, I saved up like my refund checks, or not refund checks. What is it called that you get from
FAFSA?
The checks, yeah, when you have extra money left over, like with your tuition.
Okay.
What are they called? Is it a refund check?
Essentially, yeah. Like once everything is paid for your schooling, whatever you get back.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would call it that. Keep going.
I don't remember what.
Keep going.
I saved up that.
Yeah.
And with that money, then I was able to go to Clark Atlanta, and I was there for a year, and then I dropped out. And so, I went there spring semester, then fall semester that following year. And then after that, my friend, Jamel, we were both struggling to pay for school.
Yeah.
And he was just like, came up to me one day and was like, Jayda, you want to drop out of school? And I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Jayda, no, that's not.
He was like, you want to drop out of school? He was like, you can't pay for school. I can't pay for school. Let's just get an apartment together. And let's just drop out together. And I was like, okay. And it was funny because I only had known Jamel for a year. And I ended up becoming one of my closest friends. But yeah, so that's how I ended up in Atlanta. And then actually getting a place out here after I dropped out. One of our friends, she told us that we could stay in her bedroom for like a month. Okay. Because she was going home for Christmas. And we stayed there for a month. I was like Ubering and Instacart. No, not Instacart at the time. I was just doing Uber and DoorDash. So I'm Ubering, doing DoorDash, trying to save up money. But also at that point, I was like, okay, now I have to become a real entrepreneur. I actually have to start selling clothes. Because at that point, I would sell stuff here and there, but it wasn't an actual business. It was more like a hobby. Like prior to me starting my business, I maybe only really sold like maybe 15 things. Like from since I started sewing at 15 years old to like 18 years old, I probably had only sold like 15 things. Because it was just like I mainly made clothes for myself. Not like, oh, I'm selling as a business. But when I was dropping out, I was like, dang, I have to be like a for real business owner now. So I said I'm going to do a prom dress raffle, start selling prom dresses. And I went to all these high schools in Atlanta.
Smart.
And I said, hey, y'all, can you tell your students that I'm giving away a free prom dress? All they have to do is post a picture of my work on their Instagram. and tag me. And
you came up with this idea by yourself? Or by yourself?
Yeah. Okay. And I said, all you have to do is repost a picture of my work and tag me.
That's smart.
And one person will get a free prom dress. And
so of course, like a lot of people.
Exactly. And so I was, at that time, I was a designer in Atlanta. Nobody knew me. I had only been there for a year and I barely sold clothes. But that had got my brand out a lot faster than I would have just like posting random stuff on Instagram. And so I ended up getting 15 clients my first year doing prom. And that's what really kicked off my journey in Atlanta.
Dang. It's interesting hearing, I guess, about, stories of why people came here. Because I didn't hear about how, I guess the impact that being in Atlanta has had on, Black entrepreneurs, Black entertainers and things like that until I was probably in college. And I was like, I've been in Atlanta before. I didn't know all this because I heard someone say it's like the Black Mecca.
Yeah.
I said, why don't I know this? I want to go. Let me see. And then just seeing within the past few years, the influx of just entertainers, entrepreneurs, people in media out here. Literally. And then for some reason, maybe you've seen this, but a lot of, maybe it's in my feed, but a lot of reels and whatnot, when it has the location, it says Atlanta. And a lot of the media that I see. Now, of course, stuff that pops up in your feed is suggested for you, but I'm like, why do I keep seeing Atlanta though? That part right there is, it tugs on me a little bit because I used to talk trash about. I don't want you thinking I talk trash. Stop.
Everywhere I don't want you thinking Cincinnati.
I don't want you thinking I talk trash about anywhere that's not Cincinnati. That's not true.
You do.
It's not true. But
anywhere outside of Ohio.
That's not true. It was just, I felt like Atlanta was also one of those places where everybody wanted to go. So I know a lot of people want to go to New York. I've been to New York. I don't want to live there ever. Yeah. I haven't been to LA, but I'm not in a rush. I don't think I would want to live there. And then I feel like Atlanta became one of those places. I said, well, I don't want to go. Like wherever everyone wants to go, I don't want to go there. As social as I am, right? As social as you know me to be, I don't want to go there because I feel like everyone is going just to go. They don't have a real reason.
I don't think that's true that everyone's going just to go. I'll say with Houston, everybody's going there just to go, it seems like.
See, but I just felt, well, I think when I would ask people, where would you want to live? Where would you want to move? I kept hearing Atlanta and I said, why? You know what I mean? I just didn't want to go until I started to realize that a lot of podcasters, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business people, a lot of Black people like that are here. So I said, that is extremely appealing because as we talked about it, I feel like just being here, you are exposed to so many things just for being in the vicinity of all of those things that happen. Exactly. And I think that is, of course, beneficial and big for you. Yeah, like I honestly feel like Atlanta, the people in Atlanta has opened up my mind so much. And I don't know if it's just because I basically became an adult out here. So I don't know if I just would have went through the same thing back home. But I feel like the people that I've met out here really helped change my perspective because I'm interacting with so many people. I feel like I hardly ever meet people that live in Atlanta that's from Atlanta. See what I mean? So you see what I mean? Yeah. That's that. Because I've heard this in other areas that almost dilutes the culture. If everyone that was in Atlanta is from Atlanta, that is culture there. Yeah. If everyone that is in Atlanta is from New York, LA, Miami.
That's what it is, honestly.
Yeah. It probably is a mix. Like I can see it as a mix, but I think more so because I see way more personal reasons as to why I would want to be here. It makes me want to gravitate toward this area. Yeah, like I really feel like the connections that I made out here, the friendships, and just the people that I've encountered out here really helped me become who I am now, you know? And so I feel like I was exposed to things that I really don't think I would have been exposed to if I stayed home. Yeah. And so I was able to learn a lot about business, even just my fashion mentors, they came from Atlanta. And so I feel like all of that I just wouldn't have gotten if I would have stayed back home. And so I just feel like it was necessary. Like
it's crazy. Like the amount of connections that I've made out here is, you can't even place a number on it. You know, it's crazy. Like David, all my $1 million clients, my millionaire clients, they're all here. Like the group of friends that I've made, or just even like associates who are like around my age, but they're doing like $20,000 months, or dang near becoming millionaires, or different things like that. It's just like, wow, I'm being exposed to this. Like, I'm so used to seeing successful people, but not even just successful older people, but successful people who are my age. And it also even made me realize like me, Yanni, and Trey have been talking about this often, but I've been just saying I'm so grateful for our conversation, like my conversation that I have with them, because the stuff that's normal for us isn't actually normal for other people. And so it's like when we talk about certain things, when we talk about our futures and what we plan on doing with our businesses, like what Q3 and Q4 is going to look like, and all of these different things, it's like, this is normal for us, but it's not like this is what we talk about 24/7. But even just like conversations about like how we want to grow, how we want to improve our character, how we want to improve our mindset, how we want to improve our bodies, and also just being goofy with each other, having spiritual conversations, like how we want to grow closer to God. Like all of that is just normal. Literally normal talk. Me and Trey will get on the phone and we'll talk about all of that within like hours, you know? And so I'm grateful because I know that I love my friends back home, but those aren't the type of conversations I have with them. Yeah. And so I think that that's why I'm grateful for Atlanta, is because the type of people that I met and the type of relationships that I've built and the type of conversations we have, I just don't feel like I would have gotten it to this capacity, you know, somewhere else.
So, as we were talking about, you know, how there are some things that are, I guess, normal for you now that are not so normal to other people. Like one thing that you brought up was having millionaire clients, like multiple. Is that something that overwhelms you as far as knowing, like, not saying that these people are better than other people, but of course they may have more resources to pour into you. So does that ever overwhelm you, knowing that you have a relationship with these people, whereas some people they just only view people like that as it's from a far distance, as if you can't walk up to them and maybe speak to them as well. Just having that relationship with them, or like, you know, someone like David. Does that ever make you feel a little overwhelmed, or like an imposter syndrome at all?
Not having relationships makes them. I don't think the relationships with them makes me feel any type of imposter syndrome, or even get overwhelmed. I would say, as far as my relationships with them, I more so feel. I don't know. I feel. At first, I think I would just be a little surprised that, oh, I'm actually building relationships with these people, but it wasn't like a super huge shock, because it was something I planned to do. So okay, if I said I wanted this thing, and then you get it, and then it happens, it's like okay, I really did it. Like, you know, it happened. Like I remember this at one point. I said, I'm done working with celebrities for a while, and I said I'm just gonna focus on successful, like a millionaire entrepreneur type of clients.
Why did you make that switch?
Because a lot of celebrities just wanted stuff for free or heavy discount at the time. But working with like these women who were successful millionaire entrepreneurs, they were more willing to pay me my price, and they also would refer me to their friends. And so now they're sending me other women like them to who are also willing to pay my prices, opposed to, even if a celebrity refers me to somebody else, they're probably referring me to somebody who also wants something for free or for cheap. And so
roll your eyes at that. You're like, psych, not here.
It's so but like, we're not doing that.
Y'all not about to play me.
Exactly. But yeah, so I feel like because I planned that was something that I wanted to happen, it wasn't like a super shock. But I was like, oh, okay, I really did it. But I'll say imposter syndrome more so comes in being around people my age that are successful. Because
I was about to say, we were just talking about this.
Yes.
But now hearing you say it out loud, I feel like I'm confused in a way. So you feel more like because imposter syndrome is essentially when you feel like you don't belong. So you feel that more around people your age
that are successful
than compared to. No, I think I see why that would be. Okay.
Yeah, because it's like I don't know everybody's journey, but I'll say from the outside looking in, I think like, dang, this person is around my age and they're doing really, really well. And it seems like they've avoided a lot of the mistakes that I made. So even though
okay.
Even though I'm doing well, I've made a million mistakes.
I'm not gonna lie, we're gonna have to get into some of them.
No, definitely. Look, I done made mistakes in all areas of my life.
Let me preface it by saying the reason why I want to get into them is because I think it'll paint more of a holistic and like overall picture of you and the things that you've made it through compared to, because some people might see you and say, oh, like she got this, she got that, it's just cake. And then when you tell me some of the stuff that's happened, I'm like, how? Yeah. What are you doing? Like, what's going on with you?
No, like for real. So yeah, I think that's what the imposter syndrome, that's where it comes in, is because I feel like, dang, even though I'm seeing success in what I do now, I feel like I'm still trying to recover, like patch up all these other mistakes that I made in the past. So it makes it hard to feel like I can truly just enjoy the success that I have now, or maybe even like I don't deserve to enjoy the success that I have happening now, because it's like, well, yeah, like you just had Fantasia in yourself, or yeah, you was just on TV, but you still got to fix this. You still got to go fix your credit, like that you messed up when you were like 21. And so
that's so interesting. It paints like it's like a high and what may feel like a low happen at the same time, but only you know that.
And honestly, that has happened like so many times. Even I think I had got reached out to do something for Angel Reese for the draft or whatever.
The NBA draft, the WNBA draft, some slide. Keep going. Keep going.
And I would remember I don't even remember what it was. At that point, it felt like back to back to back to stuff I was going through. But I remember it was something going on. Like, I don't know. It wasn't my car. It was something, though, I was dealing with at that time. And I was just like, at that time, when I was still talking to her team, we didn't end up going through with it because they were worried about shipping, like if it would deliver in time for her to wear it. Oh. But I was like, I'm about to do this dress for Angel Reese, and I'm going through so much right now. And so I felt like this year that has felt like a reoccurring theme. Like, oh, I'm about to do something for the Grammys, but then I went to jail like the week before. Like, it felt like a constant.
That is crazy. Like, I mean, so when I hear you speak about it, I think the fact that you even can speak about it somewhat speaks to your character, because I wouldn't be telling nobody that.
I know, and a couple people told me that they said that I shouldn't be saying stuff like that, but I think that I feel like I'm supposed to be vulnerable with people. I feel like I'm a person who is meant to share their story to help other people. Yeah. I'm so happy we're talking about this. So I'm just thinking about this in the car. But I was like, man, I went through so much. Like, I've experienced both sides of so many things. I've experienced what it's like to live not believing in any God. I've experienced what it's like to actually believe in God. I've experienced what it's like to have a supportive parent and vice versa, or maybe live in a house where you don't have like a lot of funds, but also like living with my dad, like it was like well off, like we had a maid and stuff and all the things. And so I feel like there's been so many things in my life where I've experienced like both sides, and I feel like I just be having stories on stories for days, and I feel like I'm called to help people with whatever my story is, and I feel like I always have a way to relate to people because I have so many things that I've been through. I have so many stories.
Yeah.
I feel like I always have a way to meet somebody where they're at and relate to them. And I feel like that is for a reason. So I feel like I'm called to share whatever I've been through because I feel like it's going to help other people some way or another, you know?
I can see that. It's just because I know you personally now, it's when I hear these stories, always kind of just shocked at some of the things you might experience or go through, but also seeing how there's still so much success that you're having. Yeah. So it's like, it's real. It makes me think it's real out here. It's real life out here. Like real life happens to all of us. Like seriously. Yeah. And it's just it's so interesting. But I also think it speaks to the story that you'll have because that's something I actually get excited about because you'll be able to say, did you know this happened to me? And somebody will say, nah. And let's say I'm right there. I'll be like, yeah, it did. Yeah. I heard it. I promise you it happened. Yeah. I promise. That is just crazy.
No, that's so true. I feel like, honestly, this is what happens for a lot of people who are successful, though, is they go through a lot, but everybody just don't talk about it. I feel like all of us are going through life. There's a book that I read, Think and Grow Rich, and it said the difference between successful people and the difference between failures is they're both experiencing hard times, hardships, obstacles, and things like that. But a successful person keeps pushing forward. And it also said, because of that, the successful person may honestly encounter more obstacles than the person that's a failure, because the person that's a failure keeps stopping or giving up at the obstacle. But when you push through them obstacles, it's literally like something is always coming. I was just telling my sister, like, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I want to give up, like, for sure. Yeah. But I feel like I'm so deep into this life.
Yeah. I'm deep. I can't give up now.
Yeah, it's like, girl, what are you gonna do? You don't got a college degree. Where are you gonna go? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, I'll make more money still pushing forward than trying to go get a job at this point because I don't have any like And
I remember when we had that conversation.
Yeah.
I remember I was like, you gonna do what? Yeah. So if you do that, then how are you gonna do this? Yeah. And I remember, because I think when I speak to you, I think I try not to speak from like a envious standpoint or a hater standpoint. It's like genuine curiosity. I'm thinking, if you're gonna do this, then how is that gonna happen? Because I know how late and how often you stay up to finish work, right? Literally. I'm thinking, if you do that, how are you gonna do this as well? And I think when I speak to you, I also have to be mindful of what I'm saying because I think I'm also speaking to to myself. Yeah. Because as often as I see you stay up late to work on stuff, I know I give you flack. 'Cause I feel like a good friend should give you flack. For and sure. I genuinely feel like sometimes you tripping. But I'm gonna tell you. But at the same time, I'm not mad at it because I see where you're trying to go. And I know where you're trying to go. And I was just talking about this recently about how sometimes for you to get that thing you want, it's going to be somewhat of an imbalance. You're going to have to do more of that. Exactly. So I don't really get upset. Like I'm concerned about you as my friend, but at the same time, I get it because I know where you want to go. And
I can say the same thing about you.
Explain.
Because I actually had this thought recently, maybe sometime last month, about I feel like I'll try and like get on you about like I don't think you should work as much or whatever.
See, here we go.
But I had to step back and I had to realize, like,
you felt like you were speaking to you a little.
Yeah, I was like, you're really trying to work towards stuff. Exactly. Like, and I understood, like, okay, this is what he's trying to do with his life. So it makes sense. Yeah. Like, it makes sense.
That's why when I talk to you, when I talk to you, I'm saying, okay, I can't come at her real crazy because I would do that.
Yeah.
Like if that was the path I chose, then that's probably something I would do as well because I know I want to see the result.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not mad at you, but I do want to explore because I want to be careful about how we do this. So, I do want you to share some of the challenges that you are open to sharing and feel free to share. So to paint the picture about some of the things that you have kind of pushed through. Because
how open do you want me to be? Well, I don't mind being open,
it don't,
but let me rephrase that.
No. I get what you're saying.
Is there limits on what I can say? That's what I'm trying to say.
It's
like, is there? Say this, but don't say that. Like, is there limits on what I can say? Because it gets.
Well, because
it can get real bad.
No. I feel like we're talking in code.
Like, I'm saying, like, so, I'm okay with being vulnerable about plenty of things. But
so I think what I want you to talk about is going to jail. Like,
okay.
I think I'm just nervous to ask you about that because it's like I said, if it was me, if I knew I went and you were to ask me about it, that's honestly probably something I don't think I would want to talk about.
I mean, I don't mind talking about it.
But I know you shared it. Yeah. And you've put it on social media and everything. I'm like, you did what?
Yeah.
So that, I think also, what is it?
Like, it's a lot.
It's
look at see where it goes.
The limits are, there are some things that I know that have happened to you that are extremely personal. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So don't talk about that.
Okay.
But I want you to talk about stuff that you think is funny. Stuff that has happened to you that it sucked. You kind of wish you didn't go through it. But it was actually funny.
Gotcha.
Because some of the stuff that you tell me, I'm like, there's no way that happened to you. But now that you're telling me, that's actually kind of funny.
Okay. Yeah. Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, with jail, that
like that just sounds crazy. Go ahead.
No, I've been to jail, but I've also had like a probation officer. I still have one, but I shouldn't.
You're a comedian. I don't know. Like, that's wild.
But the probation officer is because of my driving.
Okay.
So I did not have the best driving record.
Okay.
So I don't know what I did, but I know they gave me a probation officer.
Yeah.
And I had to meet with them every month. And the going to jail, though, that happened because I was texting and driving. Like, people say that's serious, but
I won't speak on that.
I was on my phone for like 5 seconds. My bad. I was on my phone for like 5 seconds.
But it was the 2 seconds that the officer needed to see.
Yeah, because my windows were rolled down and my phone all up. And so, I had got a ticket for that. But I didn't know that it was only like a $50 ticket. But at the time, like, I just wasn't trying to pay that $50. And so, I was just like, I'll pay later. But I didn't know, like, even something as small as texting and driving, you still have to go to court for that. And so, because I had just forgot about it, and I didn't even really realize I had a court date. And so I didn't go, and then they put a warrant out for my arrest. And so I had got pulled over because of a tail light. And they were like, oh, let's run your stuff. And they were like, what did they say? Oh, yeah, they were like, let's run your plates. Or when they did that, they saw that I had a warrant out. And the cop, he was like a white guy, probably in his 30s. We were talking, and he saw like I had all this stuff in my car, and he was asking, what do I do? And I was like, I'm a fashion designer. And we were just talking for a while because I was supposed to go to I got the ticket in another county. So
oh my gosh, yeah,
that county was like an hour away. So he was like trying to see, like, did he have to take me in, or did somebody have to take me in? And so he was like, man, like, I really don't want to take you to jail. Like, you cool, like, you real cool, and I really don't think you intentionally just skipped court. And I was like, I didn't. Like, it was an accident.
Yeah.
And so he was trying everything he could to
help you.
Yeah, but that didn't work. And so I ended up having to go to jail, and I was chilling the whole time. I was cool. Like, I'm
thankful for that.
Yeah,
I'm glad that you were good in there. Yes.
Yeah, like at that point, I was in a super good place mentally, like super, super good place, because I just came off like a high with my business. So
I remember we talked about that.
I was still on a high, so I honestly didn't care about getting arrested. When I was in jail, I was just like singing and like just happy like the whole time, and not singing out loud, but you know, you sing to yourself. You have to admit,
like that sounds like a comedy movie, like a comedian. Like, I mean, it's just funny when I hear that, because if it was me, I would be tweaking.
Yeah.
I'm tripping. I'm like, bro, I'm not supposed to be in here. This is not great. But
I will say I did have that thought. Like, I was like, I do not belong in jail.
Of course.
Like, I was
of course.
Like, me in jail did not make sense.
I think when you told me that, I said there had to be something so great that had happened for you and to you, or just your peace of mind and where that came from, because I would think some of that obviously comes from your relationship with God as well. But I just was very intrigued at how you kind of kept your cool in that situation.
Yeah,
because I would think a lot of people would panic, even if it's for a day. If I was gonna be in jail for 12 hours, I would probably still trip, because I don't think I should ever be in there. But since it did so happen to happen,
and it was just like the people that were in there too. Like one girl was in there, she had like stabbed her boyfriend. It was people in there for stealing. Another girl, she was like high off of like, or I guess she was a drug addict, I guess, addicted to crack, cocaine, whatever. And she was like coming off of a high, but I never had seen someone come off a high like that before. So she's like shaking and crying and all this stuff. And I'm like, do I need to go get a doctor for you? Like, and then one of the girls was like, baby, she is coming down off a high. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I didn't know. I see someone shaking and crying. I'm like, shoot, do I need to get some help? But no, like I really did have like a lot of peace while I was in there. Just because, my mind was in like the best place at that point. At one point, there was like this lady, she didn't speak any English. She was like crying the whole time. We got in jail like around the same time, so we're going through the process or whatever, fingerprints, pictures, all of that. She's crying the whole time. And I remember at one point they had us like sitting outside. This was before they put us in the cell thing. We're sitting outside and she just crying. She's like not sitting super close to me, like as much space as there is in between us. That's how much space was in between me and the lady. And I was like, man, I feel so much peace right now. I was like, let me just like pray for her under my breath. I was like, I'm gonna whisper a little prayer for her. And so I was like, God, like I pray that, you know, you give her your peace, give her comfort, like help her to just calm down and realize everything's going to be okay. And like I said, she didn't speak any English or nothing, because I had tried speaking to her prior to that and she didn't understand nothing I was saying. But as soon as I was like, amen, she literally just stopped crying. And it wasn't like she could hear me anyway because I was whispering, but she just stopped crying. She wiped her face and then she looked at me and then she just started trying to talk to me in Spanish. But after that, like the rest of the time we was together, she did not cry. And I was good. And so, I feel like in general, though, everything great that I've ever went after, there's always an obstacle. Last year it was depression, honestly. Depression and like low belief in myself, I would say, maybe.
Okay.
Last year, it's crazy because it was like the longest obstacle, I guess. As far as like, I feel like the obstacle lasted like most of the year. Like I had never been depressed for like a whole year. But after that came like the most success I had ever seen in my business. Yeah. And then the year before that, I want to say last year, I think I was the obstacle.
That's real.
Yeah,
that's real.
I was the obstacle. Even if I probably would have faced actual obstacles, but I was the one that got in the way, because that year God told me, oh, you're going to have your own fashion show this year. It's going to be super huge. You're going to have your own music produced, all of these great things. It's all going to be paid for. And I was like, okay, God, like that was my second or third year since being saved. And I was like, well, God, he said what was going to happen last year was going to happen, and it happened. So I was like, okay, you said it's going to be paid for. It's going to be paid for. Then 2 months later, Good Morning America reached out and said, hey, we want you to, we found you from this TikTok you did. We want to give you your own fashion show. Everything will be paid for. Whatever you want to do creatively, you can. And I was like, well, God said it. And so that happened. But then I got scared. I felt like, I guess, I don't know if you want to say imposter syndrome or whatever, but I was just like, I was afraid of being stressed. I was afraid of not presenting myself like as best as I could. Because I was like, this is such a big platform. It's not like it would be, me doing a fashion show with a bunch of other people. It's like, no, this is my show that's going to be on TV that is all centered around me. So I was just nervous about, I think I was so scared of facing the obstacle that would come along with this that I just decided not to do it. And so because of that, I ended up spending the rest of the year not depressed, but more so disappointed because God told you he would do a thing and he did the thing.
Yeah.
But you decided not to do it. And so
but I think sometimes experiences like that, as much as you don't wish that happened, I still think that it's kind of necessary to let you know you messed this up. How are you gonna bounce back from it? Because now that you know what you could have had, you also know how you can make it better next time. That's and what true. You can fix and improve to make sure that you actually get the result that you do want. Because it's definitely been times where I'm like, I shouldn't have done that, or I messed up. But I have to acknowledge that and actually own that, because when you don't own it, then it'll just happen again. But when you own it, you can make the change. You can be aware and say, okay, this is the part I played. Now that I know that, I can make sure that doesn't happen again. But I think as I'm hearing you speak, because this is something I did want to make sure I said to you, because I've been thinking about it, is I actually think that you are one of the most resilient people that I know.
Thank you.
Because I've now, in the basically year that I've known you now, I've seen some highs, I've seen some lows, I've heard about highs, and I've heard about other lows. But you keep going, as you were saying, you keep pushing through. And I remember one of the what seemed like a full circle moment was when you went viral. And we were talking about it. I just remember how cool that was, because since you're my friend, I feel like I'm in the vicinity of that kind of thing. And I remember, like I had seen you post it, but then it kept going. I said, Jayda, this might be the one. I was like, this might be the one to get us out the And I just remember how it wasn't even, of course, I had nothing to do with it or nothing like that, but I remember I kept checking. I kept checking to see where it was at. I was like, you see where it's at now? You see where it's at now?
It was at 100,000.
And it was so cool, because I was thinking that was well deserved, but definitely earned. Because I feel like you had been working toward it. You had been working for it. And again, it was another full circle moment. Kind of, because when I met you, pretty sure when I met you, you were wearing the JAELL jeans. And they hadn't been launched yet. No. They were about to be launched. I still didn't even launch them then, because they were supposed to launch around, that was Podcast Summit. I was about to say Invest Fest. But was it like late summer?
Yeah. They were supposed to be a launch shortly after Podcast Summit.
I figured that.
And I kept pushing it back, because I kept feeling like I cannot do this on my own. I need PR. I need manufacturing. I need an investor. I was like, I need someone to do my email marketing. I was like, I need all these different people. I said, I cannot make this thing successful by myself. And every time I tried working with somebody else, it just kept going wrong over and over and over and over again. And it got to the point, I was talking to this company who was who I was trying to see if I wanted to hire them to be like my PR people. And they were like, we think you should just, push the launch back and do it next year. And as soon as they said that,
it was like, no.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm not feeling that.
Literally, because it was October at that point. And I was like, dang, it's the end of the year. I was like, they talking about push it back till next year. I was like, God told me to do this year. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just put it out. So I didn't even get to do a photo shoot. Like all the stuff that I wanted to do. Cause I said, I know this product can be successful. I knew that. But I just felt like it had to have the successful presentation, the custom boxes, all these things. And I put it out November 18th. And then 10 days later, November 28th, which was the anniversary of... That's the anniversary of when I got saved, November 28th, 2019. Aww. Right? I was like, look at God.
Wow.
And so I launched it November 18th, but it wasn't until 10 days later that the post went viral on my anniversary date for when I got saved. And it just shot up after that. Yeah. And I felt like that was God showing me, you spent this whole year thinking you needed all these people to make this thing successful when really all you needed was just you and me. Like the ideas that I gave you, that's all you needed.
And I think it's cool because, of course, the JAELL jeans are for, I would mainly say for women, but for those that like them. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. And I remember I was like, bro, those are hard. Yes. Of course, I wouldn't wear them, but those are hard. And I think I did ask you if you would end up making something for guys that is something like similar in the future. Yeah, because I think I brought up, what is it, like stacked pants? Oh, yeah, where it was like that at the bottom or something. I said that might be cool. But it's just been cool to see how through all the different things that may happen to you, you keep bouncing back. And then, like I said, when we saw you go viral, I was proud. I was very proud. I said, wow, that's my friend. Yeah. Like it was one of those moments. I said, bro, I know her. Yeah. It was so cool.
I remember you said one of your friends or something from back home had posted my stuff or something like that. Somebody I knew. And you were like, I know her. That's my friend or whatever.
It's a flex. It was just so cool, man. Because I think, again, like knowing people like you, Trey, Yanni, and being friends with y'all, seeing y'all put in work with your respective crafts, your respective passions and different things like that. Just knowing y'all being cool with y'all, I think that helps me stay motivated, stay on track. Cause I'm thinking, bro, it's definitely possible because
for sure,
all three of these people doing different things. They all came here from different places, but they're making their own, they're making their own lanes.
Exactly.
And I respect that and I'm inspired by that.
No, for sure. And I feel like we all see that in you as far as like you can be just as successful as well. I know you don't talk to Yanni as much, but I know me and Trey have talked about that. Like, we see so much in you, for real. And I feel like if you came to Atlanta...
I appreciate that. And I think that's something else that I don't think I take for granted from y'all. Because if I'm going to be completely honest, you are one of the few people that I feel like... tells me how good I am at, or how good you think I am at this. Let me not say how good I am at this. And I'm like, wow, you must really see it because you tell me. Yeah. And I feel a lot of things when I hear it. It's humbling. Some imposter syndrome might slide in there a little bit because I'm thinking, am I that good? But I think some of that is also because I know how good I want to get or how good I want this to be. Yeah. So I feel a lot of things, but I always appreciate it when you say it because you are very generous in saying that. So I definitely have always appreciated that.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we don't see ourselves how other people see us. Yeah. And so you need other people to be that reflection. Like, you need other people to, like, show like, this is who you are, Yeah. And that's how I feel like you really are. I feel like you have the resources like inside of you. Like you have what you need to be the person that you want to be. But I also think, and this is me being honest as your friend, I think that, and I've said something similar to this before, but I think that, I'm trying to see how to say it.
Oh, you about to try me.
No. Yes, I promise I'm not. But I'll say it like this. I do also feel like at the same time, even though you have like all the things in you to be successful, I do feel like you get in the way, like, of your own self.
I
feel like many times from conversations that we've had, you place limits on yourself. Yeah, like, and it's crazy because it's not like, it's how you talk. So even though you may say like, even though say your actions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like from your actions, I could see that, you have great work ethic, right?
Okay.
But it'll be from things that you say. And the things that you say, and if you're saying these things, you think these things, right? And so if you think these things, what you think has a lot of influence on like your life or where your life may even be at. So it'll be things that you say that I'll catch. And it's like, sometimes it's almost like you're talking as if you don't believe in yourself that much, or believe in like this future that you say you want. It's like, I really want these great things, but like, it's almost like, like you don't really believe if you could get there. Or it's like, even just how you may speak, you may talk as if, you feel like the things that you do want is like so far out of reach. Like, this is 10, 15, 20 years down the line. And that be like, oh my gosh. Because one thing that last year really showed me was that it was a big reminder that God exists outside of time, right? Like, he is not confined to time. So God made all these goals that I wanted to happen throughout that whole year. He made them happen in the very last month of the year. So all the things that you want, all the things that you are trying to do, it does not have to be a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the line for it to happen. Like, the things that you want can happen sooner than that. But I feel like as long as you think it's so far out of reach, it's going to always be far out of reach. Like, as long as you think, that's far down the line, like, in 10 years, I'm going to be here and and I'm going to have this and I'm going to have this, instead of just thinking, no, like, this can be mine, like, sooner than later. And so that's what I mean by, like, it's like you restrict yourself. It's like you feel like, where I'm at now is far from where I want to be. So it's going to take me a long time to get there. But you can still acknowledge, where I'm at now is far from where I want to be. But also have the belief that, I could get there a lot sooner than I think. And so,
I get what you're saying. So you basically, and you trying to read me. So you telling me
being a good friend.
I hear you. So, because you saying basically do put a longer time constraint on things when they can really change in a flip of a second. Yeah, basically. I can see why you would say that, and it may talk. Well, it's not even that. It's like, do I talk like that really? To
me, yes, because I wouldn't say it if you don't say it to me. Okay. Or even in some of your podcast episodes I be watching.
That is crazy. I won't say that's not true. I guess I'm surprised because I guess I don't consciously think that necessarily, but I think it's easy. It makes sense hearing it from you because I actually watched something flip for you fast. Because I remember I've been following and keeping up with JAELL for a while, but then it seemed like it happened real quick. Yeah. And then things just bloomed for you. So I think that was one of the first examples that I had one of the most recent examples I've had that showed me things can actually happen really fast. Exactly. Very, very fast. I think I'm about to speak in the way that you talking about now. Because I guess I don't get my expectations up for that.
Why not though?
See, I can feel it. I don't get my expectations up for that because I think then I'm setting myself up for failure, or it makes me not put in the work.
Wait, explain that part. Makes you not put in the work. What you mean?
Like, let's say I want to go viral, right? And I don't, or I'm expecting to go viral, but I don't. Then that's a letdown compared to if I say I don't expect to go viral. I'm doing this. Why you roll your eyes?
I got something to say.
Go ahead.
Okay, you said that's a letdown. But in general in life, there's going to be a lot of letdowns. So what's in general, like you're going to face things. So wouldn't you rather have high beliefs that something is going to happen and then maybe you get like a little closer to that thing, or maybe you try and it doesn't happen. But imagine this from a sales point of view, right? Sometimes somebody who sells things, they may pitch whatever they're selling 100 times before they get a yes.
Okay.
There may be people who are looking for an investor, and they may talk to 50 investors before they finally get that yes. But that one yes can be the thing that changes everything. So it's like, of course, like keep shooting keep setting the bar high. Like keep reaching for the goal, because eventually the amount of, I guess, letdowns, I feel like will start to decrease to some degree, like because you're going to be in the cycle of like winning. You're going to be in a cycle of like believing and then receiving. And so it's better to have high beliefs. Like, bruh, for years, I've been saying so many things that I wanted to reach, like setting so many high goals. And it's not until now that I really feel like, oh, well, dang near everything that I'm saying is a goal. Now it feels like, oh, I'm just hitting these things. But I had to first develop the mindset to shoot higher, to reach for higher. And so you saying, well, I'd rather shoot for like something that's almost like more attainable. Like, oh, if I'm saying like by the end of the year, if it's like, say if one of your goals, you said by the end of the year, I want to have 1,000 podcast subscribers, right? Mm-hmm. That would be a goal that you could feel like is more attainable, right? Right. And so with you doing that, I'm trying to think how to say this. Okay. By you setting goals that I feel like are more attainable, or let's not say 1,000. Let's say if you were like
500.
Yeah, 500. Okay. You're saying stuff that may just cause you to stretch like a little bit, right? Opposed to like when you set higher goals, it forces you to stretch yourself even more. So maybe you don't go viral, but maybe your post still does better than your last 10 posts. Maybe it may.
Yeah, you good.
Thank you. Oh, you're ruined.
Yeah, go ahead.
But maybe, maybe your post does better than the last 10 or 15 posts you've done. So even if you miss the goal, that part doesn't even matter. But what's important is the stretching that happens when you reach for the goal. Like right now, what I'm working towards is the biggest goal I've ever set. Yeah. Yes. And I'm not close to it, but I still believe in my whole heart that at the end of this year, I'm hitting that goal. And you have to have that type of faith and belief. And you know what? The crazy thing is, even if I don't hit the goal, I'm doing so much work on myself. I'm stretching myself so much that I'm going to get close enough to it. Even if I don't hit the goal, I'm going to get close enough because I'm doing the work on myself in order to get to the goal. So it's not even about, oh, dang, I set this high goal and I didn't reach it. But it's more so about I set this high goal and I'm going through the work and I'm stretching myself more than I ever have. And now I'm getting close to the thing, or I might even surpass the thing.
I feel like we're maybe trying to do the same thing, just different ways. So I am maybe trying to do more of falling in love with the process. Instead of trying to hit that thing that's over there, it's like, just keep doing this. And I'm sure you'll get over there. Okay. I feel like that makes sense. And that's why because I feel like a lot of us want to go viral, right? Mm-hmm. We want to go viral. That's what everyone talks about. And yes, you want that. You do want that. But sometimes I feel like it's like when you're trying your hardest to hit that thing, it's actually being repelled. You get what I'm saying?
Give an example of that.
Oh, give an example.
Give an example of something you tried hard to get and you felt like you're actually repetitive.
You've heard of people trying too hard. You probably don't have to do all of that. You're trying too hard to get this thing, and I feel like that will make it harder for that thing to actually come to you. Like I'm not waiting on this goal or this thing to come to me. I am trying to work toward it, but I'm also maybe not trying to necessarily idolize that goal. It's like, okay, if I get there, cool. I'm trying to make sure that I'm putting in the work, though, that will show I'm being consistent, because you'll also grow doing that. And I feel like you do stretch being consistent, right? Yes. And it'll keep me on my path and on my purpose to going where I need to go. Yes.
Okay, so even if you're being consistent, it still requires you to keep adding more onto your plate. Like, it's still requiring you to stretch more. Like, you have to still keep increasing what you're doing. When you go to the gym, you are not going to be doing the exact same weights for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, because eventually your body is going to get so used to it, right? Like, if you just keep lifting, I don't know, 50-pound weights, 100-pound weights, eventually that does nothing for your body. Like, at first, maybe when you were doing it, it was stretching you. That was causing something to happen. But eventually your body gets used to it. So you have to add more weight. And so I feel like, yeah, consistently showing up, yes. But that does not mean consistently doing the exact same thing. I feel like you have to keep adding more onto, like, the work that you're doing.
But there is importance in mastering what you do as well.
Okay.
So let's look, because I wasn't expecting for the conversation to go here. I really wasn't.
But I think it's a good conversation.
I do appreciate that, though, because I was like, we talking mainly about you, and then we start talking about me. But I don't want you to think I don't listen to what you telling me, or like I don't want these things for myself all, because it's not true at all.
I don't think that's the case.
I just think that maybe I try to, you could say in a way, maybe I'm cautious a little bit with some of the things I do, but I also know that I have the full capable of, like, capacity to just try things sometimes and say, let's just do that. Because sometimes people will say, I don't think you should do that. I'm like, why not? It'll be fun. Because we'll have a story to tell, which you have plenty to tell.
Yes.
Because you've lived a life.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? The good decisions, bad decisions, you've lived a life.
For sure.
For you to be able to tell the story, and you can learn from it.
Definitely. So,
yeah. But, wow, Jayda, you just tried me. It's like, I'm playing. I'm just playing. But I'm glad that we've been able to talk today.
No, for sure.
We didn't talk.
I was saying, is there anything else about my story you want to hit on?
No. I feel like we'll always have more that we could talk about.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm more so surprised at how much I think this conversation is just showing that we're actually friends.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, you said
you never just flipped that on me, and I was like, oh dang, I didn't know he was going there. I think that's so funny. But
no, for real,
I do appreciate you.
Definitely.
As a friend. You definitely inspire me for sure. And I think that you are one of the people that I would, like, see at the top. Because I think about, dang, where can this go? Because I really think that you can actually get to these places that you want to go to. And I'd be willing to help you get there as well. Sure. So, yeah. What are some last few things that you would like to say? Or, like, pieces of advice, little sayings or anything. But last few pieces of things that you would like to say to the people to leave them with something to, be inspired.
I'll say what I'm working on right now. So the last thing I would say is fully commit to the goal. I think that sometimes we take too long to change. Say you learn a lesson or you become aware of, this is something that I need to work on in my life. And the time that it takes you from, like, becoming aware of the thing and actually changing, sometimes that could just be too long. Sometimes it may take you a year, 2 years, 3 years to learn a lesson. And something I recently realized is that all of us, we are capable of changing right now. As soon as you are aware of, dang, this is something I need to work on, you actually are capable of making a decision and changing right now. And if you really want to see like true change in your life and your habits, just see true change in the results that you're getting in your life. Like, just fully commit and love yourself enough, care about your future enough to just go all in. Like, literally, it doesn't matter whatever you have going on, just fully commit to going all in. And when you do that, it's going to feel like all these circumstances are popping up. It's going to feel like all these obstacles are popping up. All these things are trying to get in your way, but don't even pay attention to that. Literally just ignore everything and go all in. And I swear you will get to where you were trying to go. And so that's something that that's my life lesson right now. That's what I'm working on is, the rest of this year is about fully committing. I've been letting a lot of distractions that were really like circumstances and obstacles. I've been letting those things like distract me from where I'm trying to go. And it's kind of like I just need to put on like my blockers and just fully focus, fully commit. Stop making excuses as to why I can't change. Stop making excuses as to why I'm not ready to grow in certain areas or change in certain areas. So just fully commit and just do it. Give myself 6 months. Make a promise to myself that, Jayda, if you just give yourself these 6 months, you will get exactly where you're trying to go. And so that would be my word for the people on the highlight reel.
That's real. All right, cool. Well, again, Jayda, I'm glad that we have been able to have this conversation. This was good.
Definitely.
This was good. Like I said, I think that you can tell that this is a conversation between two friends because we talk anytime, especially when we talk on the phone, we end up talking like 2 hours almost every time. So I'm thankful that you were able to give me a little bit piece of your time. Let me slow down when I speak. But this is... I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah.
I've been looking forward to this because you have stories, you are funny, but I also think that you are very inspiring and very resilient. That, again, my word for you is resilient for sure because you know how to bounce back. But I want to say thank you to the listener and the watcher of this episode of the Highlight Reel. I hope that you've been able to take something away from my friend Jayda, also known as Miss JAELL.
Period.
And let the people know where they can find you at.
Yes, so you can find me on Instagram at JAELL official, and my personal Instagram is at I am Jayda Ellis. Don't forget the Y. Yeah, okay. You can go to my website at JAELLdesigns.com.
Alrighty, and that's been your episode. I hope that you've been able to take something away from it. But that's it. Peace out.
Bye, y'all.